Hello, K.Jolie Crochet Basics, and in this episode we are making a Babybel Ninja. Okay, a Babybel cheese ninja. I couldn't resist on this one. Every time I see these commercials, I just laugh because they're so cute. I'm like, oh my goodness. All right, so that's what we're making today. So what you need, small amounts, and it's more or less true to size. And these make great ornaments, keychains, all that good stuff. All right, so what you need for this one, small amounts of red, very small amount of white, safety eyes. I used 6mm safety eyes. Scrap yarn in a contrasting color so it doesn't get lost in your stitches. Yarn needle, a darning needle. I go for darning needles, but a yarn needle, a needle with a long eye so you can get the yarn through. And optional, if you wanted to close it up, you know, make the arms a little longer and cover the eyes, you know, a snap if you wanted it to be closed up or something like that. But I think this one came out so funny, and I can't wait to hang it up, actually. Either stick it on a keychain or hang it in my car or something off of the rear view mirror. All right, so with that being said, let's get this going. Wait, I didn't give you the hook size. We're working in a US F5, an F5 hook, and it's a 3.75mm hook. Okay, so let's get this one going. You need a scissor, and tape measure is always optional, but this one I don't think you really need a tape measure with. So starting in the red, have your scrap yarn stitch marker ready, and I'm using an F, which is an F5. It's a 3.75mm hook. All right, so that's what we're working in. So now if you do a slip knot, I don't do that. With this one, you could do a magic ring. I do a little crossover on my hook, and it just makes the loop. And it is adjustable and stuff, okay? All right, so you're gonna chain 2. I guess I should zoom in a little. All right, so chain 2. And in the second chain from the hook, you'll work 6 single crochets. Now on this one, we are going to stuff it, so you want it to be tight. You want nice, even tension, nice and tight. So 6 single crochets. And you'll work around your tail so you can pull that loop tight. Okay, and then you'll pull that tight, and it closes up that loop, and we're going to add in our scrap yarn stitch marker. So now for row 2, we're going to add, we're going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch for row 2, and you'll skip over that chain. We're not going to go into that first chain. We're just going to work in our stitches. So row 2, 2 single crochets in each stitch. And you'll move your scrap yarn stitch marker, and you should have 12 single crochets for row 2. So now for row 3, I'm going to show you a little trick here. So now as long as you worked around your tail and you pulled that nice and tight, you can make a little knot and cut off. So I've been doing this little thing for years. on my amigurumis and my hats, and I've never seen it come out. As long as you worked around your tail, it shouldn't come out. Not that it can't come out, but it shouldn't come out. Okay? Okay. Row 3. So 2 single crochets in the first, 1 single crochet in the next. That'll end you up with 18 stitches. And make sure your scrap yarn stitch marker should be moving in a straight line at this point. All right, so row 3, 2 single crochets in the first and 1 single crochet in the next. So we're going to do one more increase row here and get you up to 24 stitches. All right, so you'll do 2 single crochets in the first stitch. We're on row 4. We're going to do 2 single crochets in the first stitch and 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches after that, and you'll repeat that for the row. And from there you should end up with 24 single crochets for row 4. Forgot to put my ring back on. And you'll move your scrap yarn stitch marker to the front or to the back, you know, just to keep your place. All right, so now we're just going to work 3 rows at 24 stitches. So row 5, 6, and 7, you're going to work 1 single crochet in each and follow your stitch marker. And you should have 24 stitches per row for row 5, 6, and 7. So you can pause here if you're working it along with me, and I'll meet you back after row 7. Okay, so after you get to your row 7, just slip stitch into the next stitch over and pull a tail. And you can cut off. So this is what you should have so far. All right, so let's make the front part. We made the back, let's make the front. So in your red, you're going to, you can make a slip knot if you like for this part. I'm still going to do my crossover. I'm just a rebel that way. All right. My light is cringe today, right? Sorry. Okay, so for the front part, you're going to chain 2. However, you could do a slip knot, a magic ring, whatever you like. All right, and we're going to do 3 single crochets. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my pattern while I'm saying it, but I'm not actually reading the pattern. Okay, you're going to do 3 single crochets in that second chain from the hook. All right, 3 single crochets for row 1 of the face, the second part. You cut off and you put your first part aside. All right, 3 single crochets. So you'll chain 1 and you'll turn your work, and in both sides of the braids you'll do 2 stitches in each one. So you'll do so you should end up with 6 single crochets for row 2 on the face. Chain 1 and turn your work. I'm going to pull my starting loop nice and tight there and just leave that for now. Alright, so row 3, you'll do 2 single crochets in the first stitch and 1 single crochet in the next one after that, and that should end you up with 9 stitches for row 3. But don't finish off. We're going to continue row 3 and work the front, the top. Okay, so you're gonna go right back in to where you just did your stitch. So go right back in and do another single crochet. And then you're gonna work across the top in the chain spaces, the chain 1 spaces and the last single crochet. Okay, so including that second one that you put in to turn, you should end up with 6 single crochets across the top. Okay, so 6 single crochets across the top, and we said 9 on the bottom. So you should have a total of 15 stitches for row 3. All right, so from here, we're going to do a color change. All right. So instead of doing your chain, you'll pull through in the white. And you'll pull everything nice and tight. Okay? Alright. Now, in the front loops only, the side of the braid that is closest to you. And I always work these from underneath. I don't know if that's proper or not, actually. But however you work the front stitches, I always work them from under, like, you know, going underneath instead of through the top. Alright, so you'll work 1 single crochet in the front loops only, across the top only. So you're only going to have 6 single crochets for row 4. You'll chain 1 and turn work. Alright, so now for row 5, that was row 4 with that cream. So now for row 5, both sides of the braid, 1 single crochet in each. Alright, and you'll pull through, you'll pull up a loop, and you're going to change back to the red for that last one. So you're changing back to the red. So I hope I didn't say to cut off, so I hope you didn't cut off. All right, so you'll chain 1, turn your work. That's 5. So okay, so for row 6, we're changing back to the red. All right, so you'll pull up and you'll change back to the red, and you're going to work the first 2 single crochets together. The next 2 single crochets together. So you'll end up with 3 single crochets and the last 2 single crochets together. Alright, and then we're going to work one last where we work all 3 single crochets together for row 7. So you'll chain 1, turn your work, you'll push through, pull up a loop, push through, pull up a loop, push through, pull up a loop, and then pull through all. Okay? And you could pull a tail for sewing. Okay, so this is the front and this is the back. That's what that looks like. All right, and I know it's a little misshapen at this moment, but once we sew it on, it'll be like, you know, not misshapen at all. So, all right, so you'll pull a tail for sewing and you will cut off and you will get your safety eyes. You don't have to use the safety eyes if you don't like. You can use little buttons, or you can just go through and embroider with black if you like. All right, so your choice, okay? So I have these little 6mm here, and I must say I'm trying to actually get rid of these 6mm. I don't really use them anymore. I haven't really had a need for them. But you can get these online. You can get these in a bunch of craft stores. You can get them. So, all right. So you'll go in and you'll see where you want to put your eyes. I think my nails are too long. So you'll pop the backs on and you'll go from there. And then we're going to sew it up. So they make little tools now. They make fancy pliers and stuff. I'm sorry, I'm so quiet. I'm usually way more chatty. They make all like different little fancy pliers that to put the safety eyes in, because I was looking for safety eyes. Forget what size. I was looking for a specific size, and when I typed it in, they make little tools now, and I was like, wowee. Because I have my own little method of getting them in, and it involves a hammer and a screwdriver. So, all right, I'll pop my backs on, and we'll go from there. And if you haven't, please subscribe and all that good stuff. Give a thumbs up if you make it. This is a funny one. I've been wanting, like, every time I see the commercial, I'm like, oh, I want to make I want to make little cheese ninjas. I kid you not. Now, I'm going to show you something here. Whenever I make an amigurumi, if I see that my stitches are a little spaced out here and there, I'll just put the yarn on a needle and go through a couple of the stitches and tighten it up. You know, just just feed it through, you know, inconspicuous like, and tighten it up. So that the stuffing doesn't come out or anything like that. So I've been doing that for a good while and stuff, because sometimes, you know, when you do the increases, you will get spaces in the, you will get spaces there, you know, especially with the small hook and the increases and stuff. So, you know, just a little tip, or, you know, a side trick or whatever, you know. And then, not the darning needles, but tapestry needles work so good for that, because they have a long eye and they're skinnier. So it's not like messing up anything, you know, like you're not really like messing up any of your stitches. You're not spacing them out more than need be, and all type of situation, you know, especially when it's something that's going to be stuffed. You know, you want to keep that in mind. And I feel like this is so funny that I said, you know what, I got to do this one today, because I just posted a wrap, a winter cape, a fall cape rather, you know. So I'm going from classy, cozy to something silly for you, you know, something silly. But that's what the back looks like. This is what the front looks like, and we're going to sew it up. We're going to sew it on and tuck in all our ends and put a little stuffing up in there. Okay? All right. So if your strings are bothering you, you can totally cut them off and stuff. But always with the safety eyes, you want to protect them. However, you're going to get them on and in, because they will scratch up and be messed up, you know. All right, let me cut this white off. All right, so feed everything to the back of the face. Feed all your loose strings and stuff like that to the back, and then we're just going to sew it up. Easy peasy. All right. I wish I had my other needles with me, but I don't have them out. So just to feed everything to the back and secure it, and then you're good. And I do all little knots and stuff like that, but I never do the knots around the edges because, or anywhere where I'm going to be sewing through, I don't do knots there because I don't want to accidentally hit anything with the needle and loosen up a knot, you know. That's like a big no-no. So I never do like right to the edge with the knotting and stuff like that. I do make a lot of knots in whatever I'm like crocheting and stuff, but not at the edges or not anywhere that I'm going to be sewing, you know. Or if I am going to be sewing it, I won't weave in or do the knots until I've completely finished, so that you know, and that's just a tip or a trick. That's what I do. You might want to try that out and stuff like that if you've hit into your knots before. All right, let's line this up. You could take out your scrap yarn stitch marker on this ending tail. If you want, you could feed it down and do a little knot on the inside and go from there. Okay, so this is the inside of the back piece. That's the inside. You could snip off if anything's in your way. All right. All right, so I'm going to turn this inside out. I'm going to pop this here. All right, and this is your bottom. And you'll start to sewing. And then also, I don't know if I want to use this needle or a different one. All right, so but also on things like this, you want to try and start lower down, especially if it's going to be stuffed, because you don't want the stuffing to come out and you don't want like a weird seam and stuff like that. So you can always just feed the yarn over with your needle and go from there, from where you want to start, where you're going to start sewing. All right. All right. So I guess this is the tricky part, because the bottom piece is way bigger than the top piece if it was flattened out. So what I do, my little weird stuff here. So what I do when I have a bigger piece that I'm sewing onto a smaller piece is I'll go through 2 stitches on the bigger piece for every 1 stitch on the smaller piece. But you want to make sure you catch everything so that it's all sealed up, so that we can stick a little stuffing up in here, you know. I know it's kind of hard to see because I'm sewing red on red. Like I'm sewing two of the same colors together. All right, so you'll continue on with this. And don't close up all the way because you're going to flip it back open and stuff it. All right. Alright, so I have like a little finger hole here, so I'm going to pop it back out. And if you have a problem popping like pieces like this back out, I usually use the butt of the crochet hook to get it all through, because sometimes it is hard to pop it out when you're sewing inside with such tight crochet. Alright. Now, from here, looks like, I swear, I come up with such weird things sometimes. Alright, so from here though, you're going to stuff it. And you want to get good amount of stuffing behind the eyes, even though this is not a toy, you know, not a toy. Alright, so I got my stuffing. My personal preference, I like the polyfill. I think like it's so fluffy, and it holds, like it really holds. If you don't overstuff and you stuff fluffy, it like holds the shape, I think. It has what do I say, like it has like bounce back, like it, you know, as long as you didn't like crush it, like squash it down, it usually will fluff right back. So I definitely like the polyfill. I can't think of the name. Polyfill, polyester. Polyfill is the name. All right. So from here, you're just gonna finish seaming up the bottom. Once you have enough stuffing. All right. Now, I'm going to show you, we're going to make little arms to go on the side. But, you know, your choice, of course. Okay. So make sure you got it all sealed up. No loose edges, no anything, you know, hanging around or whatever. And you can leave it like this if you like. So, but what I do is, you know, like, but I wanted to do the arms because it has the arms on the characters have arms. Okay. And when I have a short thread like that, like it's too short to thread it, to thread it full, what I'll do is I'll put the needle through and thread the needle with the tail so that I can leave the bits in there to pull that knot back in. Okay? And then just cut off. Pull it a little tight so that that tail gets sucked. Pull it a little tight so that the tail gets sucked in, and then snip off. All right, so this is it so far. This is our little cheese ninja so far. All right, and then you could do little arms on it. Sorry, let me put my polyfill. You could do like chain 4, chain 5. So, but just to show you. So I thought this one was a funny one. and I wanted to do it because I'm a weirdo today. I wanted to do this one for a while. I was watching the commercial one day and I was just like, I love those little ninjas. They're so funny, you know, and then they also have made them into little superheroes with capes and stuff, you know, and I'm just like, this is hysterical. All right. So what you can do is if you want to do the arms on it, optional. If you want to do the arms on it, you know, chain 4 or 5, and just do one row of it, one row of single crochet. So you could just do one row and stick it to the side, and then you're good. Now what you can do here, if you do the arms, what you can do is you can sew a little snap on, or you could just leave them loose, you know, not a big deal, I think. All right, so here you go, little arms. I'm sorry, this one, I don't know why. Sometimes I don't know what goes through my head. Straight God's honest truth. Sometimes I'm just like, you know, I want to make that and everything. And, you know, like, my sister had said to me, I said, you know, like, I forget what it was. Something was trending. And my sister said to me, one of my sisters, she says, you know, what do you want to make? You know? And I said, like, everything. Everything. Crochet is my jam. Crochet is my art. And, oh, too far back. You know, crochet is the one thing, like the one type of artistry or, you know, being creative and stuff like that, that I feel like I know how much yarn to add, or I know how much yarn, you know? So with that, you know, like, with making the these silly things and stuff and the nice things and, you know, like whatever, all the fun stuff I do, it's my jam, you know? Like, some people sketch, some people make music, you know, some people do the macrame, or, you know, whatever it is, whatever your artistic thing is, you know. But I want to crochet everything. Yarn, crocheting is really my one constant. I've been doing it well over 20 years. And I enjoy coming up with, like, the weird patterns and stuff. I enjoy coming up with, like, you know, stuff that I like, wraps and stuff that I'm just like, oh my gosh, Kim, it's so pretty. I can't wait to wear it. Or, you know, I hope somebody really likes it and stuff like that. You know, and it's just how my brain thinks. You know, I don't want to be tied in to only making one type of project. Like, you know, I can make baby blankets all I want, but, you know, I think with each project, each different project that I do, it makes me better. It makes me a better crocheter, you know, and problem solver in a sense, because, you know, I figured out this isn't the first one of these. This isn't the very first one. This is the first one I'm doing on camera to show you how to do. So whatever the problems were with the other that I made, the other one that I made, you know, I figured out how to solve that, because I had it different when I first did it. The face was too big, you know, so I had to pull it out and go from there. All right, so here I fed my strings through, my starting tail and my ending tail, and then you could just you can take a hook and, like, push through, like, you know, and then snatch onto it and pull it in, or you can do it with the needle. So either you know, with a darning needle or you know, a regular sewing type needle, you know, and then I just pull it in. Poof, magic. The tails are in, and I don't have to do much, you know. As long as those little knots are there, I don't really have to do much with that. So that's why we like that. Okay? And however you can get it in, but I'm having a problem with it, so, you know? Easier, you know, don't make it harder than it needs to be with any of these things, because you know what? I'm showing you how to do it. I'm giving you the stitch count. I've already done the hard thinking on it, you know? I've already done the measuring and the hard thinking and stuff. But if you do make it, I hope you like making it, because it's a funny one, you know? I'm so set to string this up and hang it up. Like in my car or something, or stick it to like my keychain or something, or even like, you know, I'm like, can I make a bunch of these and stick them on the Christmas tree? Because they look like little ornaments, you know, little ninja ornaments. How funny. So, but I'm easily entertained, I think, when it comes to certain things. But I hope you like making it if you make it. Check out, I have other tutorials up there, normal tutorials, not just silly stuff, you know. And I have, on my Etsy's, I have more advanced patterns and things, different characters and stuff, you know. Let me sew my other arm on, so, you know. But I thought this was a funny one. I really thought this was a funny one to give a shot, you know. So, I guess I'm gonna end. You're gonna, you know, weave in all your ends and all of this, and then you're done. And if you want to string it up or make more or whatever, you know. But if you do make it, let me know how it turns out. All right, and just real quick, where I sewed the first arm, all right, I just followed that row to the other side, and that's where I'm attaching, okay? And you can line up. All right, so thank you so much for watching. As always, happy hooking, because it keeps you off the streets and keeps you out of trouble. And check out my links below and stuff like that. I got other tutorials. Not everything is beginner friendly. I don't even know, I wouldn't think this one is super beginner friendly, even though it's just basic stitches. But I do basic crochet, as in everything is the basic, single, double, half double. We're not doing fancy over here, you know. The fancy is in the finished product. All right, so but I do hope you like making this. And you can go bigger with the arms if you want it to fully cover the eyes, because the whole point of the arms on these little ninjas is the wax wrapping off of the cheese itself. All right, so happy hooking as always. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a super great day, and pick up some cheese in moderation, right? All right, and I'll be back real soon with my next video, next tutorial, vlog, whatever it is. Have a great day. Bye. K. Jolie, Crochet Basics, Babybel Ninja. Ciao.